Welcome to the Fearless Female Entrepreneur. I'm your host, Katarina Kormas. This is a podcast for women who are ready to break free from the 9-to-5 and confidently create a blended life that feels free, fulfilling, and fully aligned. Here, we're all about building a lifestyle that fits you, combining business, career, family, passions, and purpose into one beautifully unboxed life. Through mindset shifts, inspiring stories, and real conversations, you'll learn to live and lead fearlessly. Tune in for solo episodes and interviews with women doing life and business their way, boldly, creatively, and without apology. If you're desiring time freedom, financial freedom, and the freedom to live with purpose, you are in the perfect place. Hello, welcome back to the Fearless Female Entrepreneur podcast. We are right now in December, creeping up on Christmas time. I feel like it's that time of year where we just figure, let's just pause progress, eat lots of Christmas cookies, drink lots of hot cocoa, watch all the Hallmark movies, all the holiday movies, and let's just start fresh in January. You know, January 1st comes around, we'll just start this whole gig all over again, right? It's like everyone has an understanding that we're done trying this year, and any changes, actions, and plans will just start after January 1st. I think we're all in agreement. Now, you know, it's so funny because we think of this time of year as the time of year where we get to close out the old year and jump in and restart and refresh in the new year. And I honestly think that we have the power that we can do a do-over at any point in time. You know, you can do it on any Monday, the start of a month, the start of a quarter, any random Tuesday. You can start a refresh on your birthday, anniversary, maybe new season, like fall comes around and you're like, let's just start over. You don't need to wait for the new year. You get to create like a line in the sand and say, this is it. This is the end of this chapter, and I am going to create a new dream, a new vision. I'm going to start over. You can, choose new focuses and new goals and new intentions, and you could do it right now, whatever right now is. This is where things change type statement. And you can do that whenever you want. This is where it changes. This is where I stop the BS. This is where I stop this roller coaster I'm on. This is where I decide I want something new. We can do that at any point in time. And no matter when you're doing it, it all has to start with dreaming. Dreaming of what comes next, what you envision for yourself. Everything we ever do, everything we ever create in our life, every action we take, it always starts in our minds. It's always an idea or a vision that we start with. And I think, I think that everything goes a little deeper than a vision of what we want our life to look like. You have to know who you want to become. Who are you when you create that life for yourself? Achievements are great, right? The checklist of I hit this goal and I hit this milestone and I have my dream fill in the blank. They're great. But the journey of who you become, who you are, what lights you up, your fulfillment, your inner happiness, your inner peace, it's actually what it's really all about. It's actually what we're going out after when we create a vision for our life. We're really looking for what we feel like it's going to make us feel, what it's going to give us internally. And ultimately, that's what we're striving for every single day of our life. A life that's a little less hectic, more passionate, more in balance, more aligned to what we want to experience in this life. It's really all about what is beyond the vision board that makes life the most meaningful. Now, I know I don't have to teach you how to dream. I already know that. You're a dreamer. If you're listening to this, I know you're a dreamer. You have dreams on your heart. You have places you want to go, people you want to see, things you want to accomplish. You know what you want. Even if you're telling yourself, I'm not quite sure I know what I want. It's in there. It's in there. You know what you want. So I also no, I don't have to convince you to set aside time to write out your dreams and do some dream journaling. I'm pretty sure you are the vision boarding type or would like to be the vision boarding type. I'm sure you have daydreamed about what you want. I'm sure you've probably written it down. And I'm sure you're like, wait, we're going to start this whole year over again. I got to go grab that brand new journal that I just bought because, obviously if I'm starting a new chapter, starting a new year, how many of us have bought a new journal? Yesterday I was online looking for new journals and I couldn't make a decision. I want them all. But I do have specific types of journals I like, sizes, paper type. I'm kind of picky with that. But we all know, right? You probably have your new journal all set to go. You obviously probably can't wait to start your next chapter of your life or, just get started and jump in. But a new chapter always requires like new pages, right? It's like that symbolism, like, whoop, I don't need to finish my old journal. I got my favorite pen. I got a fresh new journal. This is where it all starts. I really want to know how you like that too. Please tell me I'm not alone. So today's episode, we are going to do some dreaming, but not just any dreaming. We're not just going to dream about what we want. We're going to dream about who you are about to become. You're going to get to know her as if you're sitting across from her in a cozy coffee shop, sipping your favorite hot beverage because you probably both have the same hot beverage because it's you. And you're catching up and getting to know each other. And that's what it's going to feel like. It's like meeting a kindred spirit for the first time. But this time you really are your own kindred spirit because you're going to be really connecting to who you're about to become in that dream you have for yourself. And no one knows you better than the future version of you. She's been you. She knows all the stuff you're holding on to, all the dreams on your heart, all the things holding you back. She is going to be the best guide for where you desire to go because she's already living it. She already knows where she needs a confidence boost. Where she needs to get a little uncomfortable, what new habits she has to adopt. She knows that because she did it in order to have that future dream that's on your heart. One of the things I pondered over the years was how it was hard or why it was so hard to really commit or stay intentional about the goals I wanted. And I knew it wasn't because I wasn't driven. It wasn't that I didn't want what I felt in my heart. I knew that I had that drive, but I couldn't figure out why I just couldn't make it happen. And I realized that just setting some arbitrary goals and plans, it wasn't enough to keep the momentum going. It was kind of like too surface level. I come back to this a lot, right? Let's be honest, we're humans. We aren't surface level beings. We're these like multi-dimensional, complex, and deep creatures. We're driven by emotions. We are led by emotions. So achieving our goals, they don't happen overnight. It takes time. It takes persistence and endurance. It takes shifting and changing and getting out of our own comfort zones. It's so easy to talk yourself out of taking action and being consistent. Unless you know what has to change, not just in terms of habits, but more in your own inner wiring, in your own self at your core, your heart and your soul. Like, it is so easy to be like, wow, this is hard. I'm not going to do it. We've done it. I think we've all talked ourselves out of doing things. But there's something it's so deep inside of us that has to shift and change in order for us to maintain the habits that we want to adopt and be consistent in doing something new. Our inner identity, our self-identity has to shift and change. And the best way to allow that to happen is to consciously identify how and why that has to happen. And that's what we're going to do today. We're really going to look at the identity shift that has to change. And yes, it still means you have to show up for your dream. It still means you have to take action. It still means you have to do the hard things. It still means you have to fail over and over and over again until something clicks. It still means that, you're going to take action for a while until it all works out. It still means you have to show up and do the work, but it's going to be easier to do the work when you identify what in your identity has to change. And we're going to get to the root of that today. We're going to do some work. We're going to dream as if we are our future self. We're going to get real about the gap between who you are right now and who you need to become. And I'm going to be honest, I am such a geek. You know this about me already. If you've listened to these podcasts, I'm a geek about journaling. I'm a geek about mindset work. I'm a geek about, all the inner changes and the confidence building. This is my thing, right? I just feel like we all deserve our dreams to become the life we live every single day. And I want to see you step into that version of you that claims it, that identifies how you need to shift and what you need to release so that you can fully step into it. I want you to understand what has to happen, because I know what it's like to throw spaghetti at the walls and hustle and can't figure out why I keep showing up and nothing's happening. And it was not about me not wanting it, and it wasn't about the work I was doing. It was about I was only slowly becoming the person that had the business I wanted, that had the lifestyle I wanted. I wasn't working on me equally as much as I was working on the outside day-to-day actions I was taking and the content I was creating. I wasn't changing. And the two have to go side by side. And so this dream process is to help you not only identify what you want tangibly, but identify how you need to grow into your dreams. So the goal is to always become more prepared and ready for your dreams, right? You're always in the process of getting ready for it, growing into it, learning more, shifting and changing. That's our job. I like to think of it as becoming, 1% more confident, 1% more aligned, 1% more open, 1% more prepared, 1% more the person we need to be to have what we want. And that 1% is something we build on little by little. 1% here, 1% there, 1% there. It starts to equal, right? Something bigger. It gets to that 100%. That 100% is that goal you want to be, right? All the elements there to have what you want. And baby steps are what we have to take in order to get out of our comfort zone so that we can do the things our future self would do without the fear and without the doubt. We want to get to that point where the things we do every single day that seem hard now no longer seem hard, and they're just part of who we are. And to do that, you have to work through the fears and the doubts and the obstacles that are in the way. And in order to do that, you have to know what they are. So we're going to do that. We're going to do that. Today is all about, we're going to journal around 9 different journal prompts. And that's what we're going to do. So, you have the dream on your heart. You have the dream for more business success and more love and more fulfillment and more balance and more happiness and more safety and more peace. And this is where it all starts. This here today is where it's like the jumping off point. But before we jump in, I thought about this the other day, and I was in the middle of a massage when it kind of like hit me. And I was like, that's it. I said the words to myself. This was a thing that I said to myself. And I'm like, this is the jumping off point. There's like this specific place we all have to come to in order to step into that new chapter. And I want us to do an exercise together right now before we go into the journaling. And I want you to think about like how we as humans can't seem to help living in the past or the future. We live in the past where we might ponder like how much it wasn't enough and all the things that went wrong. And then the future is, oh my gosh, the future has to work out. I have to make this dream happen. So we're in the middle of always either dwelling on the past or worrying about the future. And we want to know that the future is going to work out and it's going to be amazing. And all our dreams and our visions and our hopes are going to pan out. And we, live like, oh, I wish I wouldn't have done those things. I wish I wouldn't have wasted my time on all those things. And it's a lot of pressure that we put on ourselves, how we aren't where we want to be yet. And the pressure to figure it all out and make all the changes so we can get there. But I want us right now to focus on one specific moment. For one moment, I want us to stop and realize something truly amazing. And I want you to go with me here. We've arrived. It doesn't matter where we arrived. At this point in time, at this moment, we arrived. We are each here right now in our life. We don't need to give it a narrative. We don't need to put any more meaning into it. This is just the starting point, the jumping off point. The only thing that matters before you dream, before you think to the future, before you judge yourself and your journey, is that you have arrived right here. And anything beyond this point is in your control somewhat. We work together with the universe, and it's what you get to control. And so right now, I want you to do this exercise with me. This might not yet resonate with you. So go with me. I want you to place your hands on your heart. Unless you're driving or operating machinery, then obviously please don't. Pause this and do this exercise later. Find some quiet time later and do it. But if you're not operating machinery, I want you to just take a pause. Whatever you're doing, stop what you're doing. Put your hands on your heart. And I want you to take a few deep breaths in and out. And then I want you to say on your exhale, I've arrived. I'm here. I've arrived. I'm here right now. This is who I am right now. This is who I've become. I'm who I am because of my past. I am who I am now, and that is all that matters in this moment. It only gets better from here. It only gets to be what I want it to be starting now. I get to grow. I get to change. I get to become someone new. I get to build my confidence. I get to try new things. It all starts from where I am right now. Now take a few deep breaths in and out. You have arrived. And now that nothing in the past matters right now, you get to dream and decide what your next chapter is going to look like, who you become, what life and business you want to create. It's kind of like when I turned 36, I always remember this. I woke up and I remember thinking, oh, thank God, I'm on the other side of the 30s. I don't know what it was. I felt like I had spent my first 36 years of my life fighting for my life. Fighting to figure it out and worry about what people thought. And there was this moment of, oh, thank gosh, I'm here. I fought the fight. I fought to figure out my life. I fought to figure out who I wanted to be. And now I'm here. I always remember that. It was like this sigh of relief. Like, oh, thank gosh. I woke up. I was like, I can go back to bed now because I've arrived. And that's what it is. You've arrived. Whatever happened before this point doesn't matter. All that stuff just molded you into who you are today. And now you get to walk forward. So now that you've arrived, are you ready to jump in? So here's the first thing I want you to reflect on. We are going to start this journey with your heart and soul desire. And this is my absolute favorite question to ask every single one of my clients on our first call. I'll even do this if you get on a discovery call. This will probably be the first question I ask you. This sets the stage to discover where the gap is between who you are now and who you want to become. And so there's one rule for this reflection. There are no restrictions, no limitations. Don't take money, relationships, fears, doubts, any of that into consideration when you answer this question. Just listen to the question and start free writing without hesitation. And remember, nothing in the past matters at this point. We're just deciding what our future gets to look like. So there are no limits or restrictions. I want you to describe in detail what your ideal life would look and feel like. What would you do each day? Where would you live? What are all the things you want your life to encompass? What would your business look like? Who are you in this vision? What would it look like if you could truly live life your own way? No taking into account what other people think you should do or what you feel your husband would want you to do, or what your parents would approve of, or your friends. This is all you. This is your show. You get to dream. Dream without restrictions. Don't hold back. Just dare to dream. So often we get stuck in expectations or think we should want certain things. This is your life. We need to remember that. Each of us has our own life to navigate. You get to be the narrator. You get to be the master creator of what it looks like. You're not bringing old limiting beliefs or fears into the future. You've arrived. Remember where you are now. This is who you are. And you're only taking with you what serves you to bring you to that vision that you have for your life. So take a few minutes. If you need to pause this, it's okay. Pause this and really dream. I would just put some calming music on, light a candle, really think about it. Allow yourself to be so vivid with your dream. Let it pour out of you, kind of like let the pen do its thing, right? Whatever comes to you. This is your moment. Okay, so now I want to break it down to 1 year from today. So it's going to take time to get you to your dreams. So let's, for one moment, think about 1 year from today. Who do you want to be 1 year from today? What does your life look like next year at this time? What's different? What have you accomplished? Again, don't think about what you have to overcome to get there. Really focus on who you are now and who you would like to be a year from today. Our dreams they're going to take time. We don't know the timeline. They always say time, but things can change. Your confidence, your career, your business, your job, adopting new habits, moving, it can all change. I want you to think of 1 year from today as what do you want to make room for? What you want to change. For me, I'm going to be honest. I'll share. I did this exercise already. At this point in my life, my overall dream for my life is things like getting married and writing books and selling my journals and hosting retreats and one-day workshops. Those are the biggest things on my heart right now. But I know that won't happen all this next year. Some of it might. I might start some of it. But where I want to be a year from now is consistently creating, my weekly podcast episodes, getting more confident hosting workshops in person and virtually, collaborating with 2 local businesses to do one-day workshops. I want to at least outline the book that's on my heart. I want to date more often. I want to get out and explore Austin. I want to feel more balanced. I want to be the woman that feels lighter and happier and more social. I want, hosting workshops or being a guest on podcasts to feel easeful and fun. I want to be the woman that dates with ease and not anxiety. I want to dare to get one of my journals printed and learn how to sell it and talk about it. My dreams for 1 year from now are more about me stepping into that person and being ready for my ultimate life vision, for it all to come together. That way, my overall vision can unfold when I'm ready for it. Goals can be so defeating. If we say we want something 1 year from now and then it doesn't happen, that's when the thoughts are like, oh my gosh, I failed, or I didn't make progress this year. But if you plan for the growth, you need, the growth that you kind of need, the growth you need to grow into your dream, if that makes sense. It's less daunting, number one. And number two, it allows your dreams to come to you when you're ready so that you can enjoy the journey instead of judging everything by if you've arrived. If you've arrived at this arbitrary goal. It just takes the pressure off. So think about 1 year from today. Who are you growing into? What are you making room for? What do you want to be doing? The third reflection, the dreamy reflection is, this is the one we miss. This is the one that really will take you where you want to be. I want you to connect to that version of you living your dream life a year from now, 2 years from now, 10 years from now. It's time to become her. But in order to do that, you have to know, what thoughts and beliefs does she lead with? What does she believe about herself? What does she believe is possible? How does her lifestyle or her business make her feel? We really do miss this part when we think about our dreams. We can see the things we're doing and the things we have in our life, but we miss seeing that we've changed. We need to know who we need to be in order to have that dream. There are fears you're going to have to overcome. You'll have to lead yourself with decisions that may feel uncomfortable for you in the moment. You'll have to believe different things about yourself. I think about this. For me to get on stage and speak to people seems scary right now. But that future version of me doing it, she built her confidence. It doesn't scare her as much. And I need to work towards feeling that confident. So knowing that future version of me is confident on stage, I now know that I need to say yes or seek out opportunities that'll allow me to build that confidence speaking in person about the work I'm so passionate about. I also know that means that I need to make decisions in my life and business that will bring me closer to that dream. That's the power of tapping into and connecting to that future version of you, living the life you love and you want to be living. So take a few moments to really get to know that future version of you. Even, if you're a visualization type person, then pause this and close your eyes and picture yourself sitting across a table at a coffee shop. Let her be your guide. She's already in you. You already know how to be her. You just have to unveil or untether yourself from all the other stuff. So have a chit chat with her. Close your eyes and really have a conversation about what she's doing, how she's speaking about the things she does, how she's speaking about herself. Get to know what she believes and how she feels. The fourth question, speaking about feelings, your vision for your life is about what you want to feel. You're deciding the things that will bring a feeling to your life. the vision that you have, like if you've created a vision board, that vision is really about the feelings you want to experience, joy, abundance, peace, calm, safety, excitement. Why does that vision bring your future self happiness? What about her life makes her feel abundant and joyful and peaceful and grateful and excited and secure? It's so important to know why. What about it makes you feel that? Because that's going to tap into and give you some fuel that you need. This is that the part, like your why will motivate you as you continue to make decisions that are going to bring you closer to that life and business that you want. Your why is this natural fuel. It's what's going to drive you. And we'll talk about your why in a little bit. But this is really tapping into those feelings you want to experience and why those things bring you those feelings. So think about that, reflect on that for a little bit. And then let's jump into the why. Why do you want your dream life? You obviously want it, right? There's a powerful reason in order to really, for you to want it, right? There has to be a really good reason. But a really good reason is what you need in order to stay committed and intentional. Making changes in your life and stepping out of your comfort zone, it's hard. It is easy to curl back up in bed or do old habits, right? It is not easy. If you're building a business, it is not easy to be like, okay, I'm going to do something I've never done before. I'm going to put the most vulnerable thing out into the world, your heart and soul passion, you're presenting into the world in hopes that, you can sell the product or service. That's hard. That's hard. And so you don't want to talk yourself out of it. And it's going to take time and effort, and it's not going to be easy to create what you want. Your fears and doubts are always going to be louder than your heart. Your heart, it whispers what it wants, but your fears and doubts yell what it's scared of. So that means that you need to have a really good motivating why for the life and business you want to create. Don't bypass the why. So ask yourself, why do you desire to have this dream and become this version of you? What is it going to allow you to experience in your life? But also, I want you to be honest with yourself on what is triggering your desire for this goal and dream. Is that this goal and dream giving you something you don't currently have now, right? It could be giving you more money than you don't have, or it could be giving you more happiness or more security. But knowing why, what it's giving you is so important, because the next question I want you to ask yourself, is there any part of your vision that is something you think you should go out after, but are lacking the true heart and soul passion for it? When I started as a coach, vulnerable moment right now, I wanted to be a coach. That's all if you know me, I love coaching. I never said I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I just wanted to be a coach. I didn't want to be in my 9-to-5 job anymore. I loved coaching, and I just wanted to do it session by session, kind of like therapist. I wanted my practice, my coaching practice to look exactly like a therapy practice. And somehow along the way, the coaching world changed, and I'm going to do a whole podcast about this because it's kind of disheartening in a way. And it became this money thing, right? Everybody became a quote unquote online coach. By the way, there's no such thing as an online coach, but whatever. But everybody became this quote unquote online coach. A lot of them hadn't gone to school for coaching like I did. They were just calling themselves coaches. And it became all about selling the next course and selling these $10,000 programs. And I remember somehow for years, we're talking a good 4 or 5 years, I got caught up in I need to have $1 million business. I laugh about it now. Another podcast episode coming about that. But I laugh because I got caught up, and all of a sudden my quote unquote dream was I wanted to be a $1 million coach. But I didn't have a why behind it. I didn't have a reason for wanting to be no, because every time I thought of like somebody asking like, what do you want to be? I want to be, I want to be a coach. Tell me about your coaching business. Well, my coaching, I love to coach. It's my passion. I love helping women feel more confident. Like I can do this all day long. Why do you want to do it? Because it feels good, because it's purposeful for me, because I want time freedom and I want freedom to work with the people I want to work with. Right? Those were the reasons for why I really wanted it. But I was aiming at these goals and this vision of me having $1 million business. It wasn't the dream for me. It wasn't really what I wanted. So if you're journaling and you realize you might want this for some other reason other than this feels so good for you, go back to the dream. Go back to the first reflection in this podcast episode and allow yourself to dream what you want. There is no right or wrong dream. There is no right or wrong way your business should look like, no right or wrong business goal. Your business can be small, it could be big, it could be medium sized, it could be seasonal, it could be once every 5 years, right? This is your life, your dream. But it has to be something you truly want, not something you think you should want. Okay, I hope that makes sense. So really dig into why you want this. What's this going to give you? So the sixth reflection is, it's all about thinking about right now, you. Because it can seem really daunting to have what you want. It's daunting to me to rebuild this business where I'm doing more speaking events and more workshops and more retreats. It is daunting for me to go out and sell journals that I've never sold a physical product before in my life. I've never written a book before, right? All those dreams in my heart are daunting. And you might feel like you are nowhere near being ready to make changes or be qualified for what you want to do. You might think that you just aren't capable of doing it right now. It may seem like your dream is so far off from being your reality that it's even hard to fathom writing it down. You might have so many fears and limiting beliefs right now that are keeping you where you are right now. And the best thing you can do is to start where we started at the beginning of this podcast, to focus on who you are right now. You have arrived here. You are who you are right now. So let's get to know her so that you can start to fill the gaps to see how it is possible, that it's not the longest road to get where you want to be. That's in your mind. That's the gap you created. So I want you to grab your pen and paper and I want you to write down, who are you right now? What skills and gifts are you currently utilizing? Because you have a lot of skills and gifts that you're using. You probably don't think of them on a daily basis. You take them for granted. We take our own self for granted all the time. How would you describe yourself right now? What beliefs, fears, doubts, old stories do you have around what you're capable of doing and around who you desire to become? What are the things that you're tethered to right now, and the thoughts and the beliefs that you're like stuck, right? Where do you feel stuck in your life and in your mindset? The best way to start this journal prompt, though, I like to say, like, start with, I am the person who, because this is really a brain dump exercise. This is a start with, I am a person who, and see where it leads to. Let the list of questions prompt you to explore who you are right now. And I want to give you an example of my own reflection on this question, because I did this while I was like outlining the podcast. I was doing the reflections for myself, and I wrote down, I am the person who knows she's worth more, who loves to write and create. I am passionate about writing, coaching, health, and wellness. I know I'm meant for more, but I also fear that I'm trying to be someone I'm not. I feel like I'm missing something other people have. I fear that my journals or podcasts won't resonate or help people. I'm stuck thinking that everything will be overwhelming and I won't have time for actually living life if I'm going out after my dream. I feel stuck in my massage job. I do love it, but also it takes up a lot of time. I'm driven, but also burnt out. I want to live downtown Austin, but I just can't figure out how it will work. Will I love it? Will I hate it? Will it be too expensive? Is the city just for young people? Do I want to live there for the right reasons? So this was just like a stream of consciousness kind of who I am right now. And it really led into the beliefs and the doubts that are holding me back, that are keeping me here. I'm about to sign a lease of renewal for my apartment, and I love my apartment. I absolutely love my complex. I love where I live, but I wanted to live downtown. And so I really had a heart-to-heart with myself saying, you keep saying you want to live downtown, but you're not making the move to live downtown. You're about to renew the lease on here. So I made a promise to myself in 2026 after I did this stream of consciousness, like, okay, you know now, you're worried it's too expensive. Is it just for young people? I love it? Will I hate it? Great, I'm going to go spend time downtown. I'm going to get a realtor and have them show me and know what all those pieces are and really explore. Because I have everything it takes to live downtown Austin, right? It's just a move, but the fears are in my way. The same thing about my journaling and book writing and coaching, right? I have all the tools. We all have what we need. We've just told ourselves that we don't. And that's the identity we create. It's that story we tell ourselves. And so right now, when you say, I am the person who, that's who you are identifying as. But you can change that identity. So now let's think forward. Now that you know who you are right now, let's dig deeper into the future version of you so that you can now bridge the gap. Because this is part of the dreaming process. In order for you to create an action plan next, right, you need to know what your dream is, what's on your heart, why you want it, and then tell the difference between who you are now and where you want to be so that you can bridge that gap. You can figure out what do you need to do to step into that and start taking action and start shifting your identity to be that person. So what is your future self, the woman you're becoming? What does she believe about what is possible? What thoughts does she lead with every single day? Who is she as a person? What is her identity? How does she identify herself? What consistent actions does she take? What new habits has she adopted? And this time I want you to start with, she is the person who. What is she the person? What does she do? When you do this exercise often enough, you really start to feel what she feels. And for me, it gives me this like little giddy feeling. Like I kind of get a buzzing in my chest near my heart. I get like so excited to meet her. Like, oh my God, she's doing these things. And like, she feels so happy and she feels so confident. And like, I literally get a buzzing feeling in my chest whenever I do this exercise. So while you're writing and reflecting, for me, I'm going to share what I wrote, what the brain dump was, you know. She released the fear that what she has to say isn't relevant, that she has the ability to help people build their dream life and business. She doesn't doubt what she has to say. She knows she's studied and coached around mindset and confidence for over a decade. She knows that creating her podcast and writing isn't just a passion, but it's also so healthy and healing for her own body. She's kind, she's magnetic, she's loving life. She has fun, she loves people, she builds community. She went from being scared to socialize to loving meeting people and collaborating. She knows journaling is what gives her energy and releases stress. She puts her podcast first and she gets bolder and bolder around the topics she talks about. She works out every day. She goes on walks because she loves walking outside. She's the person that feels calm and at peace. She has blinders on and doesn't compete or compare. She's settled and content with her life. She doesn't scroll social media and loses hours a day. She spends more time living life and I could go on and on and on. But getting to know her and the decision that it gives you like a little glimpse into the life she created, that life that you're creating. And by tapping into that, you can see and feel that it's possible. You can feel her. You can feel that version of you. You somewhere in there know that it's inside of you. We just have to pull it out now. So let your pen flow, picture her in your mind and what she does, and then ask the questions I presented to you, about who she is and what her identity is and what thoughts she leads with. Hit pause and definitely take time to reflect on that question. The 8th question, this is the one I want you to be honest about. This is where the gap is. This is why you aren't that future self yet. This is why you don't have you're not at the level in your business that you want to be, or in the relationship you want to be in, or not living where you want to be living. This is why you haven't, even started your business yet, maybe, or hit some level of success you're looking for. This is probably why you don't have the money in the bank that you desire. This is what's holding you back. Once you can acknowledge these things, you are so much closer than you think to making that dream a reality. So here, ask yourself, how are you currently not the future version of you living your dream life and business? How are you currently not a match for who you desire to become and what you desire to have, that vision on your heart and soul? What thoughts, fears, and beliefs do you need to tweak? Where do you need to put in effort into shifting your beliefs and building your confidence so you can step into the identity of who you're becoming? What fears, doubts, beliefs, old conditioning, and thought patterns do you need to release and overcome? This is kind of like your to-do list. This is like, okay, this is the pieces that need to change. Not necessarily the actions that you have to take, but this is the stuff that needs to shift so that your identity shifts. That you become, I am the person, looks identical to the question you just answered on. She is the person who. At some point, you need to overcome these things you're writing down, because that future version of you isn't carrying these things around with her any longer. This is the growth right here. This is where you grow. This is where the 1% more confident comes in, 1% more sure of yourself, 1% more fill in the blank. That's this gap. This question is so important. So hit pause, really spend time on this one. Be honest. It is scary to write these things down. It can feel defeating and feel like, oh my gosh, this is so much. It's not. It feels a lot because you've held onto it for so long. Okay. So our final question is one that we really don't focus on enough. We focus so much on how we need to change, what we need to learn, what we're missing. We most of the time don't realize that we have everything we need to do what we want to do. We've talked ourselves into being not qualified. we've talked ourselves into we're missing something. To have the things we want, we need to go out and do the things we're passionate about. In working with clients for over 10 years, I can say that 99.9% of the time, they had everything they needed to succeed. They were qualified, they had the passion, they had the personality, they had the why, they had the drive, they were enough, they had enough. They were so close to being a match for what they wanted in their life, their deepest desires. 99% of the time, it was all mindset standing in their way. And that 0.1%, sometimes it was like small little things that, they had to learn or do something different. But most of the time, one of them was like, she had to go back to school to do the things she wanted to do, right? Like she needed a license for it. But everything else was mindset. So right now, I want you to acknowledge how you are a match for who you desire to become and the life and business you desire to have. This is against most of our wiring, but I want you to list out the beliefs, the characteristics, the identities, the qualifications, the passions, and the feelings you are already embodying right now that are aligned to what you desire to create in your life in the next year. Think about you 1 year from now. How are you already to be her? What are the things you've already done or already do that you will be doing a year from now? Maybe it's a habit you started, but you haven't been consistent with. Maybe it's, I'm drawing a blank. For me, I've hosted in person and online workshops many times. For some reason, I still feel like I'm not qualified. I'm not sure why I feel like I'm so far from where I want to be with hosting them more consistently. And that's the thing. I'm just not consistently doing them that I forget that I can. And I know more consistency and practice will bring me more confidence, but I'm already the person that hosts them. I just keep telling myself I'm not. Because maybe I just don't feel as confident as I want that future version of me to feel. There are things you do right now. If you have a hobby that you want to turn into a business, well, you're already doing it. You're already doing it. Now you're just bringing it to more people, but you already know how to do it because it's a passion of yours. You wouldn't want to start a business around something you don't know how to do. You are already qualified. You're just not looking at how you are. Our dreams can feel so far away, so hard to achieve. But most of the time, in reality, they're closer than we think. And our minds are the only thing keeping them at bay. I want you this year to grow into your dream. I encourage you to shift your perspective to growing into it and making progress instead of, I need to achieve this thing. Like, if I would freak myself out if I was like, I need to have my book published by December 17th next year. That would be that. That would not be, because I might not be ready. Things might happen in my life. It might not pan out, and that I don't, but I know I can grow into it. It might not be December 17th, but maybe the book is completely done by December 17th. My goal is to feel like an author by December 17th. You're always going to get there through growth and becoming, but you're going to struggle uphill with a 500-pound weight on your back in the headwind if you're trying to just achieve something. The journey is to move closer. That's why I call it becoming. You're in the process of becoming. Your journey is to get closer, which means, just pay attention to the gap you want to fill and shift. Work on filling that gap, and then you'll be on the other side of achieving what you desire before you even realize it. Focus on filling the gap. Okay. So that is my process for dreaming, for getting ready for 2026, or if you're listening to this next year, 2027. If you're listening to this is the summer, getting ready for autumn, whatever your new, quote unquote, new year, new chapter is. This is my favorite way to dream. I have definitely gotten more achieved more on my vision board by approaching it this way. And I feel less defeated, and I feel less like a failure because I can see the growth. So how do you feel about your dream? How does it feel for you? Are you excited? Does it give you more energy? As we're going into that new year, hit reply or send me an email, get on Instagram. Let me know how you're feeling about your dream, how this exercise worked for you. Or do you feel ready to start planning your 2026? I challenge you to mark your calendar to listen to this episode and do the dream journal at least every quarter, just to kind of hit pause, come back, reflect. If you download the Becoming Quarterly Journal and Planner, these dream reflection questions are in the planner. So, they're meant to prompt you to dream every quarter, to remind yourself, where you're going, so that you can build the habits and make the decisions on how to bridge that gap and get you closer. And so, yeah, you can grab that digital Becoming Quarterly Journal and Planner. It's free. If you click the podcast description, the link is in there, or you can go to katarinakormas.com and click on the free resources menu item, and scroll down and you'll see the Becoming Quarterly Journal and Planner. I think it's the first free resources on the list. Anyway, thank you for joining me and dreaming with me for 2026, and I will see you all next week. Bye.